Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we're going to give you an exile of players who were forced to stay at their club. Let's get into it. Goalkeeper, David De Gea. David De Gea is now arguably the best goalkeeper to ever grace the Premier League. The Spaniard has been a trusted figure between the sticks since his arrival in 2011 and has recorded a remarkable 100 clean sheets in the Prem, the most a keeper has since his debut. It was no surprise when Real Madrid came calling in 2015 and offered £30 million and Keylor Navas for the Spaniard. But Man United were adamant that their three-time Player of the Year winner was going nowhere and denied the Spanish international a switch to his homeland. Rumour has it that the Spaniard had already picked up his bag and tailored his Los Blancos suit ready for the move. Some reports suggest that the transfer broke down due to bad blood between the clubs, which stemmed originally from the sale of Cristiano Ronaldo. With Real signing Thibaut Courtois last summer, it's unlikely that they'll go in for David De Gea again, so it looks like the Spaniard will become a Manchester United legend whether he likes it or not. Defender, Virgil van Dijk. Widely regarded as the best centre-back in the world, coming off the back of a Champions League triumph and a second-place finish in the league, Van Dijk is living on cloud 9. He joined the Prem in the summer of 2015 with Southampton and helped them finish 6th, their best finish since 1984-85. After an 8th place finish in 2016, the Dutch defender attracted interest from the likes of Manchester City, Chelsea and Liverpool. Unsurprisingly, Van Dijk proceeded to submit a transfer request asking for the Saints to consider any offers. Mauricio Pellegrino was determined to keep their rock and defence, and scared of potential suitors Liverpool after claiming they had illegally approached the Dutchman, the Reds were forced to publicly apologise. Distraught at his club's actions, the 2019 PFA Player of the Year was forced to train by himself after some unsavoury actions. The Dutchman eventually got his move in January 2018 for a record fee of £75 million, making him the most expensive defender to date. A year and a half later, and it looks like Van Dijk was worth every single penny. Defender, Hector Bellerin. After a breakout season in the Premier League which saw him get a place in the PFA Team of the Year in 2015, Hector Bellerin was facing the prospect of a return back to Barcelona after swapping La Masia for the Arsenal Academy in 2011. The Catalona Giants were in hot pursuit after struggling to find a long-term replacement for Dani Alves. Arsene Wenger was desperate to keep his starlet and reportedly held crisis talks with the 21-year-old in an attempt to persuade him not to leave. Bellerin had made 44 appearances in just his second full season with the Gunners and was hopeful for a move back to Barcelona. Unexpectedly, Arsenal reverted to sending a highly unusual hands-off letter to the Catalan club in which they warned Bellerin was not for sale. It seemed to work, as the Spaniard stayed put in North London and has gone on to win 2 FA Cups with the Gunners. Defender, fans' choice. We've left this one blank because we want to see if you can think of a defender who was forced to stay at their club for one reason or another. Whether it was loyalty to the badge or threats from the board, we want to hear what you think, so let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Midfielder, Luka Modric. In 2011, Luka Modric was amongst the very best midfielders in the world and was Tottenham's heart and soul. The Croatian joined the Lily Whites in 2008 for just £18.9 million and quickly became a crowd favourite, helping them to 2 top 4 finishes, the first time they reached that position since 1982. Roman Abramovich was keen on rebuilding his Chelsea side around Modric, but saw 3 bids rejected by Daniel Levy, who was adamant on not selling his star man. Modric desperately wanted the move to Chelsea and even withdrew from a game to try and force it through. Once the transfer window closed, Modric was forced back into the squad and helped to push Tottenham back into 4th place. Funnily enough, Chelsea, who were in hot pursuit of the midfielder, stopped the Lily Whites from returning to the competition after winning the trophy in the same year Spurs finished 4th, a bitter pill to swallow for the Croatian. In 2012, Modric handed in another transfer request and the North London club rejected it for the 2nd year running, leaving the Croatian so frustrated he ditched training. Spurs fined him £80,000. He finally got his move away from North London when Real Madrid came calling and paid £30 million for Modric. Now 33, with a Ballon d'Or and 12 trophies including 4 Champions Leagues, we're sure he doesn't regret escaping North London. Midfielder, Riyad Mahrez. After the miraculous title triumph in 2016, Leicester City were victims of vultures stealing their squad. N'Golo Kante headed to Chelsea and suddenly all attention switched to Riyad Mahrez, who was linked with Barcelona and Real. The Algerian had become the first African player to win the PFA Player of the Year award after scoring 18 goals and recording 10 assists for Ranieri's Foxes. But having already said goodbye to Kante, Leicester rejected a £50 million bid for their winger, and their billionaire owners insisted they would not entertain any offer less than £50 million. Leicester might have wanted to keep hold of their magician, but Mahrez wanted to cash in on his success with a move to greater things. Allowing others to leave but forcing Mahrez to stay obviously left him frustrated. This led the winger to miss multiple training sessions and in turn alienated him from the team. Roma, who were struggling to make the top 4 in Serie A, were very interested in the Algerian. However, they had to abandon any interest after seeing 3 bids rejected in one window. Luckily, Man City stayed in hot pursuit and finally got their man in the summer of 2018. They broke their record to land him for £60 million, and Mahrez has added another title to his trophy cabinet, while the Foxes finished 2018-19 in a more familiar mid-table. Midfielder, Marco Verratti. In the summer of 2017, PSG midfielder Marco Verratti was subject to interest from Barcelona following a disappointing season in Paris. The Catalan giants were ready to offer the Italian €100 million, and the 24-year-old was keen on a switch to Spain. Valverde, who was just appointed as Barca head coach, made Verratti his top target, even after an underwhelming season which saw him register 3 goals and 8 assists in all competitions. The midfield maestro was seen as a long-term replacement for the club legend Iniesta, who was heading into his final year of his contract. Verratti held secret talks with the Blaugrana and subsequently rejected a €200k a week contract extension with the Ligue 1 runners-up. However, PSG were adamant that the 24-year-old would not leave the Parc des Princes under any circumstance. After continued speculation, the Italian international recorded a video apologising to the fans for the transfer rumours and declared his love for the team. Former PSG sporting director Patrick Kluivert admitted it was true Verratti wanted to join Barcelona, but the Parisians wouldn't let him go. Still playing in the Parc des Princes, we wonder if Verratti will ever get his dream move. Midfielder, Wilfried Zaha. A player who is no stranger to transfer speculation is Crystal Palace wideman Wilfried Zaha. He has been playing for the London side since the age of 12 and now at 26 is the main star within the team. In the 18-19 season, he recorded 10 goals and 10 assists, being one of just 7 players hitting double figures in both. After an incredible season, there's no surprise that the Ivorian is being linked away from the club, with the likes of Arsenal and Borussia Dortmund reportedly interested. Zaha has made his desire to play Champions League football very clear, but with the Eagles valuing him at £80 million, we struggle to see any club willing to cough up the cash. The 26-year-old hasn't made a transfer easy, having signed a new deal last term worth £130k a week. The Eagles now have the upper hand, and despite Zaha's ambition, they can't be forced to sell him. After signing the 5-year contract, it looks like he might have sealed his own fate to stay put at Selhurst Park. Forward, Alexis Sanchez. Joining Robin van Persie on the list of Arsenal's biggest regrets is Alexis Sanchez, who left for Manchester United for absolutely nothing. Arsenal did, however, have the opportunity to sell the Chilean to Manchester City for £70 million in 2017, but rejected the offer as they couldn't find a reasonable replacement. While at the Emirates, Sanchez was Arsene Wenger's prized possession, contributed 125 goal involvements in just 166 games. Unhappy in North London, the Chilean was openly looking for the Emirates exit door and even rejected a 275k a week deal. Wenger remained stubborn and stated many times the decision is not to sell. After City clashed with Arsenal over his price tag, the Chilean eventually made the switch to Old Trafford, with Mkhitaryan heading the other way. Arriving on the free, Sanchez became the highest paid player in Manchester United and Premier League history, earning a whopping 350k a week. Since being a Red Devil, he's failed to live up to his reputation, but the 30-year-old will at least be happy to be rid of his Arsenal shackles. Forward, Luis Suarez. When Arsenal bid £40 million and £1 for Luis Suarez in 2013, they thought it was a clever exploitation of his release clause, but it became the most embarrassing transfer bid in history. Although Arsenal thought they had triggered his release clause, in actual fact they were misinformed and the Uruguayan was not allowed to speak to the Gunners. Suarez was desperate for a way out of Merseyside and went to the press to confirm his desire to leave Liverpool. Reds boss Brendan Rodgers put his foot down and publicly criticised the striker for disrespecting the club, and like the rest of the want-aways on this list, Suarez was forced to train alone. The striker, who had scored 30 goals in all competition in the 12-13 season, had to apologise to the club for trying to force a move away and stayed at Anfield for another year. In his final season, he scored 31 goals to push the Reds within touching distance to their first title in a generation. As a thank you, he was granted his move in 2014 and joined Barcelona for £65 million. Better late than never. Forward, Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of, if not the biggest icon in world football, and a contributing factor is down to his rise at Manchester United. Joining as a spotty teenager in 2003, it was the 07-08 season that officially put him on the world-class map. The Portuguese forward scored a crazy 42 goals in 49 appearances for the Reds and claimed the Ballon d'Or and FIFA World Player of the Year. After an impressive Champions League run helping United win their 3rd European title, Ronaldo caught the eye of Real Madrid. CR7 made it very clear that he wanted to join Los Blancos, stating in many televised interviews that he desires to leave Old Trafford. FIFA President Sepp Blatter, who had close ties to Madrid, criticised Sir Alex Ferguson and the Red Devils for preventing the move and compared it to modern-day slavery in sport. Ronaldo publicly agreed. Ferguson was adamant he wouldn't lose his star man and was eventually rewarded for his stubbornness. The winger stayed for an extra season and his goals fired United to another Premier League title and into another Champions League final. But even Sir Alex couldn't put off the inevitable, and Ronaldo was then sold to Real for a world record fee of £80 million, and the rest is history. So that was an XI of players who we think were forced to stay at their clubs. If you think we've missed anyone out or have any suggestions, get them down in the comments below, and as always, like and subscribe.